Giants All-Pro D-tackle Dexter Lawrence has reportedly requested a trade out of New York. So Lawrence has just 2 years left on his deal, and Adam Schefter reported that he and the Giants have been attempting to negotiate an extension for the past 2 years, but there has been absolutely no progress.
He got 2 years left on his deal, but he wants an extension. Is that the incorrect verbiage? Does he want a what's the word? Does he want a raise? Because if you already got 2 years left, how old is Dexter Lawrence? He's 28. What?
So Skip, what's your reaction to him requesting a trade?
Good luck to him. I don't think he has great leverage now. I don't think he has great bargaining power. And yet I will admit, I do see the NFC East world through a cowboy lens, through blue-colored glasses, if you will, metallic blue-colored glasses. And even though Dexter Lawrence has made 3 Pro Bowls and 2 second-team All-Pros, he's never scared me as a Cowboy fan. He's never been, in my eyes, a force like Jalen Carter, your guy, scares me because he does wreck games. Quinnen Williams is capable as a new Cowboy of wrecking games. Dexter Lawrence is a mountain of a man in the middle of a Giants defensive line who had a career year 2 years ago with 9 sacks, and it was pretty impressive, but as a group, they were not impressive at all. And he's not changed life for the Giants, who I'm going to remind everybody, they got all these first-round picks across their defensive front. Mm-hmm. They do have Dexter Lawrence, who was once the 17th overall pick, and Abdul Carter was just recently the 3rd overall pick. Thibodeau was the 5th overall pick, and Brian Burns was the 16th overall pick. So you got pick across the front. And here's what the Giants have done the last 3 years in defense. In points allowed, in 2023, they were 26th in points allowed. In 24, his career year.
Now, the thing is with that D-line, number one, they're injured. They get injured. And then number two, you need more than just the D-line to have a successful defense. You need the entire unit. So, like, I get the point Skip making. Like, he's trying to, like, diminish Dexter Lawrence as a vital or pivotal piece for that team or defense, but yeah, it's like what he's saying doesn't tell the whole story.
They were 21st in points allowed. Last year, when Dexter Lawrence fell to a half a sack for the entire year, they were 26th in points allowed. So they have underachieved dramatically. And I can't forget that week 2 game at Jerry World last year. Again, Russell Wilson was the quarterback, but it goes overtime. It's 40-37. So we hang 40 on Dexter Lawrence's defense, and Dak threw for almost 500 yards. And I don't remember Dexter Lawrence in the game. So you can make the case that he was quitting on the Giants last year or losing heart or spirit.
I'm going to say this, like, siding with Skip in a very small way. I didn't know Dexter Lawrence was that nice until maybe the beginning of this past season. Like, I would constantly hear people talk about how nice he is. I think seeing him on the top 100, seeing him as one of the highest rated defensive tackles in Madden. And I was like, I never heard of him on a level or a consistent basis that I heard of Chris Jones, who we've heard being arguably the best defensive tackle in the league for the past, I don't know how many years, outside of Aaron Donald before he retired. But Chris Jones was like right. They were 1 and 2. So it Skip's defense there, but again, it's a small defense because I'm not gonna diminish him just because I'm not watching him,
Spirit or sort of momentum off his career year because they wouldn't pay him. And it seems like this is the 3rd offseason that they've battled over his contract. So he's going to want, I don't know, $25 million for 3 more years as he goes toward 29 in November. This will be his 8th year. And I can't get excited about his chances elsewhere unless you tell me he'll be completely revitalized with a new chip on his shoulder pads for a contender elsewhere. But I don't think the Giants, once upon a time, they could have gotten a first.
I don't see why they don't pay him. Pay him, just make it incentive based, Don't put a bunch of guarantees in it. If he hits the incentives, then he earned it, Then he earned that contract and he's actually worth that money. If he doesn't, he's going to get paid what he's worth, So I don't see why they don't just, I feel like it's a simple fix. And I feel like majority of the best teams out there, they pay their players. They pay their best players and they pay them early. They don't wait till the last year of their contract, or they don't wait till the, Like, they're not waiting till the last second. So I say pay him, make it heavily incentive based, take out some guarantees and move on with it.
For him. Now I don't think they can get more than maybe a third for him, because somebody's going to have to turn right around and give the man his money, and it's going to be a lot of money for an aging football player coming off a pretty bad year by his standards. So I just kind of shrug at this, because I don't think he's a life changer. I don't think he's a difference maker who is about to hit the market. And I don't know that even though John Harbaugh said, he's super, super important, he's a cornerstone or even a middle stone for our defense. Yeah. I got it, because you almost have to say that because of his legacy and what he used to be. But I just don't get the sense that they're going to be devastated if they do trade him.
I'm with you, Skip. I look at the middle stone, right?
Yeah.
Shit, what we doing in this run defense?
Yeah.
They second to last year.
It was.
They sixth from the bottom the year before, and the year they paid them, they was fourth from the bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's a weird situation. You.
Again, I'm not you can't put that all on him, on one man. Like, it's a unit, If the linebackers are not good defending the run, that's going to play a part into their run stats. If the guys on the edge are not good defending the run, that's gonna play a part. I get I get that you could say it starts in the middle, but yeah, it's just these stats don't tell the full story of Dexter Lawrence's impact, And again, I don't watch bro in detail enough to have a true opinion, but I'm not going to, I can't bash him and use these stats. I'd have to use his individual stats. Like, what does it look like when he's there, Because he is injured at times too, so.
Get paid in 23, and you already trying to get extended in 24. Then you at the table again in 25.
Yeah.
Bro, if everybody did that, then this should be in shambles. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait your turn.
Yes.
You just got paid, baby. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Guys, the next guys who gonna get paid, they going go in front of you.
Yep.
Then you wait your turn. You keep balling. Then you get paid again. So I don't know. I think it's a little premature.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I'm saying? And I could see if they was top 5 rushing defense and you came out with your high number, your 7 sack seasons, and I could see trying to come to the table 2 years early. But it's just not that. It's a bad run defense. You're in the middle of it. That's bad. Your sack number down. Your team bad.
I don't think you should request money immediately after you just got an extension. I think give it 2 seasons. You got paid. Boom, go out there and prove it. Boom, go out there, prove it again, and then you could request after that second year. Immediately after that second year ends, or even in the middle of it, if you having that type of season. But you gotta, I can't just have one good season and be like, oh, I want another raise. We got to see it for more than one season, because that happens. Players can have one great season and then fall off, Players get paid, and again, they do good, and, they start enjoying that money, and they fall off, so.
That is like, goddamn.
Is the trade request because of the money?
Oh, it's only because of the money. I don't think what
There's
he want to
actually some
win.
hope, I feel like, for the Giants this season, so it's because of the money.
Man,
think so?
If they pay him, he would gladly stay. They tell you it's because of the money. You know what I'm saying? If Chef says it's about the money, it's about the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Look what happened with Myles Garrett. Myles wanted to win, he got paid, and then everything was all good.
That's what the reports say, that it's about the money. They gave him some little extra chunk of change last year, and they was second last in run defense this year. You want like, what are we paying you for? Is my question. Like, it come to a point now, the production gotta match that check.
Yeah. That's what I was just about to piggyback on what you said. It's not the best year last year from his own standards, but the question for you two guys would be, as a defender, leaving a team that's not that good, going into the market, are you looking to go to a contender and still get the money? Or are you looking to sacrifice the money to go try to win?
But first, at his age, year 7, in my prime.
8. This is be his 8.
Yeah, well, going into year 8, first and foremost, it's about the money.
Yeah.
And I gotta get set first. And if that's with a contender, then whoop-de-doo. If it's not, then shit, I might be able to make this team a contender.
Yeah, I feel like that's generally most players. Either you won early in your career and you're just trying to get paid later in your career, or you got paid earlier in your career and you're just trying to, it's the opposite. In his situation, they ain't really won nothing. And it's just like, trying to get his money, and that didn't even fit either example I said. But I mean, it is what it is, At the end of the day, once you're getting up there in age, you're trying to secure a bag. But yeah, if you didn't get paid early on, which I'm assuming he didn't. I don't know the situation. I don't know his contract. He's on his second contract right now, right? If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he's trying to just get his money. You about to turn 30. You got to get it in before you hit 30. Got to, because once you hit 3-0, they're gonna try to age you out.
You know what I'm saying? But at this age, bro, we don't hit the table enough for it not to be about the money.
Yeah.
So it got to be about the money.
How many times did he hit the table? You say he hit the table
Yeah,
once?
he had
Or
that
only
one.
once,
Yeah,
right?
he only hit it one time.
So with this, if this is a money grab and you do go to a team that's worse than the team that you're on now, does your production have to go up?
I mean, if at that point, you already got the money. So, I mean, you feel me? You go to a team that's worse, you probably going to get signed. You got the money now, so now it's what you want that legacy to be. First and foremost, we got to handle home first, you know what I'm saying? And that's why he's trying to do it right now, because it's like, shit, once I get to year 10 and year 9 and year 10, like my prime I'm at the end of my prime now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I ain't really going to be able to be the highest paid no more. So while I'm in my prime, I want to be the highest paid guy. Even though I just got paid 2 years ago, I want to be the highest paid guy. So I see where he coming from. I see where the Giants coming from. I think at the end of the day, it'll end in a trade for a second round pick, like Skip said, maybe third, and he'll be happy. The Giants will be cool with what they got for him, but hate to see it happen because he can help them become a winning org.
Well, a major question would be like you just asked, where are the Giants coming from? What are they thinking as far as not paying him? Like, why wouldn't we pay him, bring him back?
Because we were second last in run defense.
But also, I think right now, too, to Akeem's point, like playing defensive tackle, playing a physical position like that, you're not going to have a ton of opportunities to come to the table. But as a team, you're not going to have a ton of opportunities to get a lot of value back for him.
Yep.
But again, for me, it just goes back to why let a player like that? Well, if you're already paying him a big contract, give him the pay raise that he wants, but just make it incentives. You know what I mean? Maybe throw him a little bit of extra guarantees. It don't gotta be crazy, But if he's that type of player, or they look at him as that type of player, or they really don't look at him as that type of player, and that's why they don't want to give him a pay raise. They feel like they're paying him fairly, but sometimes that's just what it is with the NFL, and that's why teams pay. That's why Kirk Cousins, a quarterback like him, is the highest paid quarterback in top 3 in NFL history. You got players like that that's up there. Christian Kirk, when he got paid like that, sometimes teams just pay players because they need to fill that hole, and they might overpay a little bit, but I think it's reasonable to get this done and keep him. If it's not that, like, if he doesn't want that huge of an increase and paid, then I think it's worth getting done. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts.
So right now, if they pay him again, they extend him, because if you look at his contract situation, he's on average making $22 million a year as a defensive tackle. That is 11th amongst other players at his position. The top right now is Chris Jones. I think he's at 31 million or so.
Right.
So he wants to be closer to that number. The reason he's pushing so hard right now, though, is he doesn't know if he'll get another chance to negotiate for that contract. Last year, he had half a sack while playing every game, so the production went down a little bit. But if you're the Giants and you want great return on investment, you could trade him right now with a new regime, with Coach Harbaugh, with some younger players. They got a lot of key, young, talented pieces on that defense. If they want to go try to add more depth at other places on that defense, they could. But I think right now, really, this for Dexter Lawrence is a negotiation tactic, in my opinion, because he was very vocal last year saying that I wanted to be a lifelong Giant, and I also want to be a part of the Ring of Honor when I retire. I don't think all of a sudden that changes because
I think that can change that quick. Money will change somebody's perspective 100%. I think it could change that quick because a head coach will say that about a player. Oh, we love him. We want him to be here. The GM will say that we love him. We want him to be here. And the very next year, they're going to trade you. You know, so I think some players, you know, they got the same mindset.
He's not getting the money that he wants. I think this is similar to what we saw from Myles Garrett a couple years ago. He was adamant about wanting to go compete elsewhere. Now, his was about winning rings. Dexter Lawrence is more so about the money. But either way, he threatened the Browns by saying, get me out of here. I want to go play for somewhere else. We talked about it all offseason. It was a huge storyline. But then what did he do? He just ended up signing a contract extension.
All right, but don't put Dexter in the same sentence with Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, but I'm saying,
A whole half a
I'm
sack.
not comparing the two. Listen, give Dexter Lawrence a little credit here, though. They're playing.
Y'all think that went over Skip's head? What Cody is saying is valid, you know, in my opinion.
D-tackle and defensive end are two completely different positions. But Dexter Lawrence has been very disruptive throughout his career. We can't act like he's just a nobody that we're passing over that's not, you know, or that's going to be easily replaceable. I think it's tough to find Dexter Lawrence's in the NFL, especially if you want to improve.
Okay,
I know the numbers don't back it up, Skip.
You mentioned Chris Jones. Every time I turn them on, Chris Jones just pops off my television because he just wreaks havoc.
Well, he's
just
6'8".
Yeah, but there's not a ton of Chris Jones out there. There's also not a ton
But
of
if you want
Dexter
to be
Lawrence
paid
out
like
there.
Chris Jones, you need to be Chris Jones.
Production-wise,
But I don't think he's gonna come to the table and say, I want 31 million. I want Chris Jones type money. I think Akeem said it right. I think he wants maybe 25 to 26, jump into that top 5, top 3 range when it comes to annual salary for a defense.
That sounds so petty to me, but at the same time, I guess, you know, if that's what he wants, if he wants a $3 million pay raise, why not pay him? $3 million extra. He's making 22. He wants to make 25. I'm confused.
Defensive tackle and then go from there because the production has been there, even though he's
would you pay him top 2 or 3?
With what we're building right now, I would. I think the Giants would. I think John Harbaugh has been very vocal about what he means to that team, and I know maybe some of that is just coach speak, but at the end of the day, you're putting the pieces in place to go make a run. I think if you lose Dexter Lawrence, that might add a couple years onto the rebuild because now you got to solidify that interior of the defensive line. Pass rusher is important, but so is having key pieces in the middle as well, so those guys can get one-on-ones on the outside.
Does this stop me as Harbaugh from picking up other pieces if we renegotiate this contract? He takes more money out of our pocket to go get other pieces. Does that stop me as a coach and actually, you know, have me recalibrate my thinking and saying, well, you are our middle stone.
Yeah. Right.
Now you want more. We could go get more to help the defense come from second to last to middle of the pack.
At this point, I'm just trying to listen to see if they're going to make any, like they're going to put out any other information that I'm not aware of or, you know, make some points that, you know, make sense. But as of right now, he wants a $3 million pay raise and some extra years on his contract. So pretty much, I don't know how many extra years, but he wants a $3 million pay raise overall. So is that difficult, you know?
We can actually go up with other pieces, but if you take the chunk of the money, now we're handcuffed now with the same situation.
But they don't got no damn money already. So if they do create the money, it's going to be some restructure. And it ain't really going to happen.
And it's a small jump.
It's a small jump. And then they got a rookie quarterback.
Contract.
So when you're on that rookie quarterback, that shit
You got some extra money.
is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? It just helps out a lot. You ain't got to pay somebody $50 what I'm saying? One person 50. So that's gonna help him out a lot too. If it was me, I'd pay him too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah,
You
that's
put
what
me
I'm
in a tough
thinking.
spot.
I'm thinking him stay there and just fight it out and help the defense.
Yeah, you get that
become
extra
something.
$7 million. They could find that extra, get him from 22 to 28. You know what I'm saying? He'll probably be good with that. I feel like they do some
That's a
type of
big
That's a big
restructuring,
jump.
extension. You know what I'm saying? They could do something if they feel like he gonna be here. Then they could find the money, man.
I think
they always do.
It's a bold approach, though. You're coming off the worst year of your career, and you're coming to the table and wanting more money.
It's just that age, man. It's that age.
But I'll say this too, because when you watch the tape, it's not like the production went down because he struggled. Yeah,
Right,
it wasn't
right.
great, but he gets double teamed a lot.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of attention
He do.
off of other guys up front, especially in the run game. You're going to get those duo combo blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, is Lawrence the shade or is he the 3 tech? Let's run our duo combo block to him and then trust one-on-one backside with the other guard or trust leaving a backside end to come down and make a play. So he gets a lot of double teams. It's not like he's just getting one-on-ones and he's losing every rep.
Right.
Teams are focused on him. The more production you have in the NFL, the more that offensive coordinators are going to come up with a plan for you.
Okay, he played all 17 games.
He did.
And they went 3-14.
They did.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Pay him. Pay that man.
I mean,
Right.
but if you starting some, like, if I'm trying to go 14-3, and then is it a good idea for me to take out my middle stone, or let's just take him out and just plug in whoever right there? Like that ain't really I'm kind of, spinning my wheels here. You know what I'm saying? If I'm trying to build, let's build.
How much better do you think he'll be if they give him $28 million for the next 3 years? Do you think that will suddenly
even if he's
restart the fire?
not better, I know on Wednesday the first, second down is going to start with him. That's
Exactly.
it. Wednesday, first, second down is going to be, hey, we got to control this guy right here. If we don't, we're going to lose the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's him doing his job right there. You take him out, then shit, it might start with the edges. It might start with somebody else.
Yeah.
So if he's the focal point on Wednesdays, then that's his job. That's what he's doing right now. So I would probably pay him, man, just because shit. Might as well pay him. I probably got a couple more years before I got to play Dart, if we pay Dart. So, hey, you could figure it out and trade him later. His contract could go with him. Figure it out later. Right now, with this defense, I wanted to start with him.
Yeah. And I think the timing of it makes it a little difficult for the Giants too. Because
Exactly.
what's your plan? If you want to get draft capital for this upcoming draft, you've got just over 2 weeks to do it. So you better start talking to other teams and negotiating trade deals.
Yeah.
If not, now you're looking at post-draft, which would now give you draft picks for 2027. Is that worth it? Is it really going to be a great return?
I don't think they have a problem getting no draft. If they 2 weeks is plenty of time. Shit can take them 2 hours. They can get on the phone right now and find somebody who want them right now. You ain't gonna get no one. We can give you a 2. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about the decision, though. You got to make that decision and commit to it then. Or at least, like you said, get on the phone and hear out conversations. But it's not like this is the beginning of the calendar year. Now we've got a couple weeks, maybe a month to figure out draft or figure out, where we want to go with the trade. You got 2 weeks. You better make a decision. And this could be a organization-changing move if they get rid of a staple like Dexter Lawrence in the middle.
Okay, so here's the question. For the next 3 years, will Dexter Lawrence be a top 5 defensive tackle for the next 3 years?
I think that's reasonable to say. I mean, if he's already up there right now, why would he drop down?
Will he perform at a top 5 level? Because that's what you have to ask yourself if you're going to give him close to $30 million for 3 more years, right?
So everybody who's making, so all them top 10 guys in front of them,
Carter.
I mean, them the top guys. But what about the other? If Carter and Jones is 1 and 2,
Quinnen
is 3.
Yeah.
All right, what about number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? What about all them guys? They ain't doing shit. So I really don't have to. He got to be a top 5. Nah, it's the market, the money going up. Period. Like shit. It is what it is, bro. We got to pay everybody at this point.
Okay, so you just went from he's not that big a deal to pay the man, right?
From what I'm trying to do, I would pay him.
But what are you trying? That's what my question is.
I'm trying to win.
If you're the New York,
You're trying to capitalize off of having a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. That's what you're trying to capitalize off of. So build this team, get some guys on there who can get you in a win now position, and try to win right now while Jackson Dart is still on his rookie deal.
Giants, right?
Yeah.
I'm not staying the same course that we've been on the last 5 years. We just got a new coach, correct?
Yep.
He wants a new direction. He wants some fresh blood.
Right.
So if you come in with a whole negotiation tactic of trying to get more money without the production to follow, I'm hardball. I'm looking like, let's go to the draft. Let's go to the books. Let's figure out other players that can help us rebuild. And you said it in the beginning where
You're not going to replace his production with a rookie. That's not happening. So again, it's like you might as well just keep him for now. Just make it incentive based. In my opinion, make it incentive based. Keep him. And once you got to pay, by the time you got to pay Jackson Dart, his contract gonna be, you know what I mean? It's gonna be significantly lower, or he might be out of there.
if you're looking at the market and you're saying 30 million, 28 million, that's off the books. If you get rid of him and you go get younger pieces, you get to rebuild with a new coach. That's kind of like I was saying with the Steelers. Like if you're going to get off Tomlin, you got to get off everybody. Start fresh completely. You got Dart out there. You got a lot of different young pieces that you can build around. And if you're keeping him just strategic for defensive Middlestone purposes, I think you can find a solid defense without the Middlestone and still be solid. I don't think you would be dead last. I think.
Now, okay. He's kind of making a point right there. We could at least find somebody to replace him that may not be as good as him, and we could expand that money throughout the rest of the defense. But you got to have a good GM, and you got to have a good head coach that can scout that. You know, they can find that type of talent, but you need to find that right now. And free agency is already passed. So unless you, like, if they would have did this at the beginning of free agency, if he would have requested a trade at the beginning of free agency, they would have been in a good spot. But free agency already passed. You're missing out on free agents. You might as well rock it out, you know, because you're gambling on rookies.
I think they could find pieces that, you know, there's people out there, free agency, Hassan Riddick, certain guys that are out there, Joey Bosa, certain guys that are available. Yeah, readers out there. They got some guys you can pick up low capital and show and prove. But my question is always for every organization, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to rebuild? Are you trying to go the same direction? And if that direction is 3-14, like what are we doing truly?
Yeah. I mean, and to that point, I think if the timing of it again makes it difficult because if they made this decision earlier on, then they could have been more aggressive in free agency and maybe traded for Oso Odigizua or maybe made a run at some other interior defensive linemen. But now that it's so late, the market's become very thin. Even at 5 in the draft, if they get rid of Lawrence,
Hey, Cody be spitting them facts, man.
Still think they go wide receiver there. They're not going to try. And this isn't to Lawrence's favor. This isn't a huge defensive tackle draft class. There's not a lot of talent in the interior with this draft class, maybe in the future. But for him right now, the timing of all of it just screams contract negotiation tactic for me. This is him trying to gain some leverage.
I don't know. You just rattled off the numbers in your opening soliloquy over there about near last, and stopping the run. And I just showed you in points allowed, defensive points allowed, they have been bottom of the barrel for 3 straight years with him as their anchor.
Right.
Even having a career year and then a down year, it didn't matter. It didn't change life in New York. So I'm just saying, if I'm Shane.
I need to see the numbers when they're running in his direction or when because we can't include the games where he's not playing. You know what I mean? Now, again, availability is the best ability. But, you know, like the stats only tell you half the story.
If I'm looking at it from the big picture, if I'm in the ownership booth, I'm saying, really? We'd pay him? What have we done on defense where you said, oh, he's the reason why, right? Yeah. He's our Jalen Carter, he's our Chris Jones, he's our Quinnen Williams. I just haven't, I've watched every Cowboy-Giant game very closely, and he just
ain't
doesn't
jump off the tape.
Never, not once. Where I say, oh damn,
right. I can see it both ways.
I
can see it both ways. I can see him like saying, "Fuck it, we can get rid of him. He ain't doing nothing."
I agree with that.
Then I can see them saying, "Man, shit, he our Middlestone, and we need him."
Yeah.
Skip say trade him. I'm gonna say keep him.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go against Skip. Skip would do. I would probably do the opposite.
I'm gonna do the opposite.
It's as simple as that. My team probably be better than Skip's, so I probably just see what Skip want to do. I'll do the opposite of what Skip.
Do the opposite.
All right. I give you this: when you're trying to evaluate a defensive tackle, about half the battle is not losing the battle. Where if you're an anchor where you are immovable,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. And so it starts with immovability, where you can't blow him off the ball, and you can't. I give you that. But then the next half of the battle is, will he push you back and wreck the pocket? Will he push the pocket into the quarterback? I don't see enough of that. I saw it 2 years ago in the sack total was 9. That'll work.
Yeah.
And then it fell off to a half sack, and you can argue that he was disgruntled. He just didn't like that they wouldn't pay him because he thinks he's way better than that. And I think he's overvaluing his own value to them, his own performance. I don't like his bargaining power right now because he's got effectively 2 years left. They could just say, screw it, man. You're just going to have to play. And then would he play half-hearted? Would he?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, that's devastating right
Okay.
there in itself.
Dang. Okay. Well, Skip's out on it. Keeps just disagreeing to disagree. But we might as well call this episode.
Well, yeah, I said keep him. Figure out the pay raise. But again, like Skip said, they do have leverage. They do have leverage. So we'll see how it plays out. Rashad made a good point too. If you could find a defensive tackle in free agency right now, but again, it's not the beginning of free agency, so it's like, but if you could find decent enough players, maybe. If you could find decent enough players, yeah, Rashad was making a good point. But again, if this was at the beginning of free agency when he requested a trade, they probably would have moved on from him. They would have made some calls. They would have shopped him around. They would have called some free agent defensive tackles and be like, oh, we can get him for half the price that we can get him. Yeah, let's do it on a 1-year deal, or a fourth of the price, things of that nature. But anyways, and spread that money around the defense, But it is what it is. Let me know y'all thoughts. Y'all think they should pay him, trade him? Give me some good insights and some good perspectives. Subscribe, stay tuned, stay blessed.